Hi friends, welcome to the Navratri special 10 minutes concept clearance. See, in 10 minutes we are covering various concepts. Today I'll be covering retail banking versus corporate banking for JAIIB. Okay? So let's not waste the time. Immediately move on. The difference between what is retail banking, what is corporate banking. What the key differences I'll give you, which are very important, and all these in just 10 minutes. So let's move on. Like the channel, subscribe the channel, click on the bell icon. Okay, let's start. See, corporate banking versus retail banking. What do you mean by this? See, in corporate banking, what happens? Suppose, let's say I am having 1 CR. I'll give you directly come from the example. Suppose if I am having, let's say 1 CR, 1 crores. Okay. So 1 crore I am having for giving the loan. 1 crore I have to give the loan. So in corporate banking, what will I do? I'll give it to one customer only. Corporate. I'll just write C now. I'll give it to one customer. Full 1 crore to one customer. In retail banking, what will I do? I'll give the loan to, let's say, 100 customers. 100 customers. So 100 customers means what? 100 customers multiplied by 1 lakh each. 1 lakh. So now look at it. The loan, the amount is getting divided in 100 customers. Now you tell me, what is the chance of one customer becoming NPA? What is the chance of one customer becoming NPA versus what is the chance of all 100 customers becoming NPA at the same time? Can this happen? All the 100 customers NPA at the same time? Not possible. Here what will happen? Out of 100, 5 customers will be NPA. 5. Okay? 5 will be NPA. So 5 lakh is gone. 5 lakh is gone in NPA. So 95 lakh is remaining. But here, complete 1 crore is gone. So that is the main difference between retail and corporate. The NPAs are less in retail because the money is well diversified. It is not with a single person. So now look at it. Small number of customers for retail, for corporate clients, because we have smaller number of companies, just few companies. I'll give 1000 crore, 500 crore to all these companies. Then narrow client base. Narrow means small client base, isn't it? Narrow client base, very few clients I am having in corporate banking. Then large value transactions. The amount of transactions are huge. They go from 100 crores, 200 crores per transaction. Then large number of transactions. Volume is also huge. It's not that volume is less. Volume is also huge over here. So large number, large volume, huge. Okay. Interbank transactions. So in corporate banking, you have interbank transactions between one bank and another. SBI wants to borrow from PNB. PNB wants to borrow from Bank of Baroda. So that is basically interbank transactions. Large sum of money is involved. Interbank markets, fund for business undertakings. So this main job of corporate banking is funding the business undertakings. They require money. Always companies require money to expand, to do their business. They require the money. So this money comes from the corporate banking. Low cost of processing. The cost is very low. Why? Now this is one of the major differences in retail banking and corporate banking. In corporate banking, the number of employees is very less. See this. 1. Number of employees less. In corporate banking, see, I am talking of corporate banking. So in retail banking, it is more, right? Number of employees is less. The branch can be located outside the city. Branch can be located outside the city for corporate banking. Okay. So branch can be outside. Okay. Outside city. So branch can be located outside the city. Because of this, what happens then? Because of this, what will happen? Because of this, remember, the important part over here will be, if the branch is outside, the rent will be lower. In main city, always the rent is higher. So these are the main differences in retail versus corporate banking. Okay, let's move on further. Retail banking is the visible face of the banking to the general public. So retail banking is the visible face of the banking. Means whenever you say, I went to PNB Bank, I went to BOB Bank, I went to Maharashtra Bank, it means what? You went to the branch of that bank. So retail banking is the visible face of the banking and to the general public, with bank branches located in abundance in most major cities. Kindly note, most major cities. The branches of retail banks are always in cities. They are never outside. So that's why the cost becomes huge for the retail banking. Because the rent cost in the city is huge. Also, number of employees required is more. Right? So it is a visible face. Kindly note this. Corporate banking, on the other hand, works directly with the business to provide them loans. So you can write it over here as retail banking is B2C, B2C, business to customer. Okay, and this corporate banking is B2B, B2B. Okay, so corporate banking, on the other hand, works directly with the business to provide the loans, credit, savings account and checking accounts, which are specifically designed for companies rather than individuals. So now, corporate banking works for loans, big loans, credits, LC, bank guarantee, funded, non-funded, all this comes under corporate banking. So it will give big loans. And what is checking accounts? Savings you understand, credit you understand. What is checking? Checking account means, kindly note, it is a second form of current account. In US and Europe, they call it checking accounts. Now the difference in checking accounts and current account is, number one, in checking account, no cash transaction is allowed. No cash transaction is allowed. No cash transaction, okay, allowed. In checking accounts, kindly note, in checking accounts, no cash transaction is allowed. Number two, in checking accounts, kindly note, there is no MAB. No MAB, no monthly average balance. Okay, no MAB. So there is no MAB. Kindly note this. In checking accounts, this is the new term coming into the Indian banking system. It is very prevalent in Europe and USA. But here it has newly come. Okay? Then next, kindly note, role within the banking operations. So there are basically three approaches. Kindly note, business model, this is an important question which comes in exam. Compulsory it comes. Kindly note, three approaches are there: SBO approach, departmental approach and integrated approach. I'll just give you the hint or summary of this. SBO means what? Every branch should be the profit owner in its own. It must earn the profit, every branch. Departmental approach, we work in separate departments: clearing department, cash department, loan department. Okay? That is departmental. This is generally followed in PSBs, public sector bank. This is generally followed in foreign and private banks. Integrated approach, this is generally followed in small banks. Integrated approach. Okay? So here every job is done by everyone. Every job is done by everyone. Okay? So these three approaches surely are asked in the exam. Okay? So that was it. 10 minutes concept. Bye from my side and happy Navratri. Okay? Bye everyone.